What up? How's it going? What are we in? We're in Charlotte. Anybody know? Let's see if DJ Susan can spell Charlotte.
Fuck, I can't even say Charlotte or Charleston in the same sentence. Just about Charlotte, S-C-H-E. Nah, fuck that. We're not here to spell. We're here to fucking make moves, baby. Hey, Charlotte, make some motherfucking noise, y'all. First and foremost, before Sherm gets into his thing, the fact that you guys made time to show up for this today, give yourselves a pat on the back and a round of applause. That is the first step in making it in anywhere in life, especially in the music industry, is showing up, investing in yourself, and especially the people around you. So seriously, congratulations. We're so stoked you guys are here. Let's fucking get into it. It's Hood Polly, DJ Susan, Sherm, Eric, KBJ, all the legends. Let's go.
Hell yeah, Sue. If he could spell, he would do my job, but he just can't quite accomplish that yet. Guys, like Sue said, thanks so much for coming. I'm going to go around. We're going to do introductions. Everybody introduce themselves. Again, I just want to reinforce how fucking awesome you guys showed up. You guys care. That's amazing. 99% of people do not show up. 100% of people complain. So at least be that 1%. My name is Sherm. I came here from Chicago. Been in the industry about 10 years. Chicago? Let's go. I got Malort on me, for real. And DJ producer, podcast host. Also have a music conference called Chicago Music Nexus. We're doing something in Miami. If you guys are going to be there, talk to me after as well. And I'm also the label manager for Hood Politics.
I'm Eric. I'm the owner of Trio and Take Me There Hospitality with my wife, Kate, who's standing over there playing. Oh, I thought I'm not started Trio Charleston in 2018 and brought it to what it is today. Super happy with where we are, and yeah, been a crazy ride, but excited to share some of it with you guys.
Hell yeah. Yo, W. Eric, man. What's good, y'all? DJ Susan here. I'm DJing tonight, so I hope to see you guys at the show. I am the owner and the founder of Hood Politics Records, Peak Dial, and just a world-class friend. So let's lock in, let's learn, and let's have some fun, baby.
My name is Kyle B. Jones. I am one of the co-founders and the director of EDM.com. I was just telling Stu, we launched on January 1st, 2014, so we're just coming up on close to 12 years. And I also have some business partners, and we've run a record label services, and I also do some artist management, so wear a few hats just like the rest of the people up here, and really excited that everybody could come out. There's a lot of opportunities. I actually live in Charleston. There's a lot of opportunities in these tertiary markets here, and there's been a lot of success stories that I've personally seen come through as a result of the foundation that Trio's like created right here. So you are in the right spot, and Sherm said it right. By showing up, that's half the battle.
What's going on? My name's Angelo The Kid. I'm the director of entertainment here at Trio. I'm also an artist as well, so I make music on the side, and then I've also been DJing since I was 12. So kind of been doing a lot throughout the years, figuring stuff out, and yeah, so.
Hey, I'm Stu Hackley. I'm the co-founder of Arc Music Festival and Artist Presents in Chicago. Now I'm with Insomniac, and I'm the lead talent buyer for Factory Town down in Miami, Florida. Started my career with Disco Donnie Presents, actually living here in Charlotte and doing some shows in college prior to that, and then started my own company, Loud Crowd, prior to meeting everyone in Chicago and starting ours.
Everybody's really fucking nice here. You guys are clapping. We're all politely handing the mic to each other. I really like that as a Midwest guy. All right, guys, who here is a DJ? I always like to see who's in the audience. Usually everybody's a DJ. Everybody's a DJ, aren't they, these days, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. Everyone's a DJ at heart. I ask that, guys, because it really feels like the market is super saturated, right? It feels like dance music is kind of in this turning point right now. Sometimes if you get on Twitter, which I would recommend deleting, it feels like the entire industry is flipping upside down. But just want to remind you guys, everybody has equal opportunity. Everybody can make it. Anybody can make it. And I'm sitting here in this chair because I worked the very hard way, just like DJ Susan and everybody up here on their own. So the first question I want to ask is just kind of a reality check. Everyone's trying to break through in dance music, but the path isn't always obvious. In your experience, what does breaking through actually look like today? Streaming, touring, community, industry support. And let's get the venue perspective as well.
Are you asking me what it would look like for a DJ or what I felt like breaking into the industry?
Yeah. Like as a venue, like you started your own place.
Yeah. I think really what drove it is passion. I don't really think we realized we broke into the industry until we really opened our second trio and had a second to breathe and look back and be like, wow, we've put on, 400 shows in the last 5 years and some of the artists that came through. But I mean, really, yeah, I think what drove it is passion and just really liking what we do, providing a place for people that want to share similar passions and goals, and I'd say dreams, but just life attaining aspirations. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it.
That's breaking through.
Breaking through, yeah. Doing what?
True.
Staying true, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love that.
I think I felt like I finally broke through in my career when I felt like I was harnessing my authenticity as my superpower, and I stopped waiting for doors to open for me, started opening my own doors. And that's what led me to start Hood Politics and release 300 plus records from artists all across the world. And I think doing your own thing is so special, and not waiting and just harnessing that power that you have, that you can do your own thing and that you don't need to wait for anybody, and you can put your own music out and you can self-release and you can represent yourself better than anybody else, and you can just be stoked on yourself. And I think once you harness that and like really start to embrace the individuality that you have and the person that you are, everything will change, and you'll realize why you're in this in the first place, to build community, to be an artist, and not to compare and not to be in competition with everybody. Once I started doing that, everything for me changed.
So I think the concept of making it in the music industry is really something for self-definition and self-reflection. So I encourage everybody to sort of think about, like, what does it mean to you? Because I think especially 2026 and so many different ways of making it. We were just talking about there's Christian DJs now, and there's DJs playing for 5-year-olds. Stu just came from. So there's all kinds of ways to make it now. And so, for you, it might just be you really need to get this, the creative expression out. It might be that you want to make all of your money from music. It might be you want to be rich and famous. So I encourage everybody to sort of think about what it means for you, and then to quickly share, my own definition. It's sort of a combo of two things. One is like, if you could just wake up every day and your only job is just to be you, you can say kind of like a professional you. So if I have to out Kyle B. Jones myself every day, and it's like I've somehow created enough value into the ether that I'm have enough money to live off of that, and just I think that just is an awesome concept of like every day you just wake up and try to be a better version of yourself. And then for me personally also to share, it's the money part sort of comes last, but I have a degree from Wake Forest, and I always figured if push comes to shove, I could always go get a job at a bank. But for me, like, I really was motivated to be an entrepreneur, and still chasing that. So for me, it's like, if we can get to the point with my teammates and all the projects that I'm working at, that could never be taken away. Because while you're making it, it's like SHIT could hit the fan and you have to go get a real job or something like that. But if you've broken it through to the point where like nobody could ever take that away, then that's what making it is for me.
I think the big thing that they're all saying is like, what's true to you, what's best for you. I started as an open format DJ, and eventually I was getting tired of it. I didn't want to end up doing that. So I trying to create my own lane as an artist. You know, making music that you want to make, I think, is very important. And also, like, the reason why you're doing it. I think there's multiple reasons. Sometimes you want to be the party guy that wants to tour, DJ, and be that person. Sometimes you just want to be the music guy that, you know, you're making 10 demos a week and just grinding on that. So I think finding what's best for you is important. And yeah, so.
I mean, these guys have said so much of what I would already say myself, but being able to trust your own taste and have others rely on that taste as well and make an impact with that, and whether that's from the artistic side, the musical side, or from more of the business side, it all meshes together in actually building something in the music industry. And when you get to a point where you can follow your instinct and your gut on what you think is right from any of those perspectives, and also have others rely on you and look to that and trust that without questioning it. Of course, you always have questions, but knowing that you're on the right path and making the right decisions is a sign that you know you're doing the right thing and starting to break through in those areas.
I will say one last thing on that. The world doesn't need any more DJs or artists. They need more individuality, more people that are themselves. And everyone's trying to copy everybody. Everyone's trying to copy the same formula, failing to realize that your guys' path to success is literally just being the most authentic version of yourself. That's what people gravitate to. They're not gonna gravitate to more music, more whatever. It's you as the individual, the character that you are. Embrace that, own that, and everything will work out for you, I promise.
I feel like I missed the question real quick, so I'm gonna go back and add a little bit to it too. But you know, from a venue standpoint, I think everybody here touched on the fact that it's when you making it as an internal feeling, it's not an external thing. It's not a certain level of fame or a certain level of success. I think it's a level of happiness, and I felt like we really made it when you're standing in the DJ booth looking out at the crowd and you've got 600 people out there that are just dancing and smiling and having an unbelievable time to the music that he made, that he's playing, that he booked, that he's promoting. You know, it's, and you too, obviously, but that he's talking about, and just that self feeling of like, I'm happy, I'm doing what I like, I'm doing what I love. This makes me feel good. I want to do this again. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I ever write an autobiography, which I probably will, it's going to be called Alone in the Green Room. Okay, and what I mean by that is Sue and I, through our ventures together in the music industry, and everybody here has met really big DJs that they play to the biggest crowds, they have millions of streams, hundreds of thousands of followers, and they come back to the green room and there's nobody fucking in there. And you're like, yo, where's all your homies at, you know? And they're just like, oh, I couldn't make it, you know? Like, they just kind of have this, like, battered up life. And to me, I think a lot of people, until you get in the music industry for years and years, you think that making it is playing to those big crowds. That's what making it is, having these vanity metrics. Like, but the longer that I'm in it, I realize I already made it because I have the best fucking community and peers that I've surrounded myself with, like DJ Susan. He's taught me so much about this, right? I thought I wanted to be the cool underground DJ that used to play at Spy Bar. Like, I worked for so fucking long to get these gigs at these house music clubs because I was like, I went to Cross in like 2016 and I heard a rolling bass line on some fucking massive speakers and I was like, fuck yeah, this is it. Right? That was just cool music and I thought that was the artist that I wanted to be, and I realized actually at my first gig at Spy Bar, Susan was there and I was on stage and I was being real low key, playing music without words and not being myself, and he comes up and he goes, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, dude, I gotta be respectful, you know, I'm opening for a chapter and verse tonight. And he was like, this is not Sherm. I'm gonna stand here and stare at you until you play music that you love. And I was like, all right, fine, fuck. And then literally 30 minutes later, I'm playing music, I'm having so much fun, I'm being myself. I had people in the crowd for me. Like that, looking back, was making it for me. Realizing that I broke out of this fucking shell that I made up because of the world that I saw online was what I wanted to be, but realized that every step after that is already something that I'm proud of. I could hang up the headphones today and know that this is a career that I'm so proud of. And that's why I do stuff like this, because I want you guys to know the realities of like, making it doesn't mean that you're main stage ultra. That's fucking awesome if you get there, But to me, it's about the real people you connect with. So I just wanted to tell you guys a little personal story. Friends along the way, literally. Hood Polly, the friends along the way. Yeah. So who here is trying to get gigs? Right? Get gigs in this city, Chicago, LA, all that sort of stuff, right? This guy's got his hand up big time. You're gonna ask the first question later, okay? We have some people in the back end of the industry. I do a lot of talent buying in Chicago as well, and I feel like one of the hardest things to do is book people who have a real community, real following, because again, these vanity metrics only go so far. Particularly in house music, so I'm gonna ask Stu this question. You never really know who's gonna sell tickets until they start performing, right? So I wanna get your opinion on, Stu, like, what does an artist who's successful look like to you when you're actually thinking about talent buying and booking people, whether it's a headliner, an opener, a closer?
So many layers to this question. It's kind of what I said earlier, at least from my perspective, is trusting your taste, right? And I look at that lens when I'm looking at other certain artists, and analyzing it from, it's a kind of a corporate word, right? I don't like, I should take that back. But I'm looking at the artists and what they're playing, what their community is like, what their clips are like. Because sometimes when you see an artist, it may not be live, right? So I'm looking at it on Instagram, I'm looking at it on TikTok, wherever it may be. And what I try to look for in that is, can I get a feel for what their set is like? I'm not always listening to songs. Sets, I think, nowadays are very important, and trying to get a feel for what is this like. If I can feel the excitement of your set, of your music when I'm watching that clip, that's one big thing for me, especially in today's arena, where there's all sorts of different ways you can look at it, from ticket sales to Spotify plays to other types of social media metrics. Those things are all important, but lately I've really tried to go back to trusting my gut and trusting my own taste. Do I like what I'm hearing? Is it fun? Are other people having fun? Where could this fit in a festival or in a club? And I try to look at things in the whole picture, where when I'm building a festival and a run of show, I'm thinking not just what's going to be this based on the size of the artist, right? That's how most traditional stages are done, is you go by ticket value and the profile size of the artist, which is important. But I look at things overall as, who would be really good for the sunset? Who would be really good in the middle of this? How can certain artists lead into another? I think that's what's most exciting. Is lately I've been looking at some of the grids when I put a festival together, and it's not, oh, look at all these artists on this stage. It's, oh shit, it's so and so into this guy, and it's a very exciting, like, holistic experience. And that's something I think about when I'm looking at these new DJs. When you're a smaller profile size DJ, when you're local, when you're trying to break through, I think it's important to try and show those things. It's not always just about the music or just about the social following. A lot of really good talent buyers or bookers or club curators, they're curators. They have taste too. They have people around them that have different taste also. I look to a lot of people around me for their opinions as well on artists and what music they're listening to, because I don't like everything. I respect everything, but I'm not always listening to everything and thinking and have the ear for that and thinking to myself, oh, that's the next thing, right? As many artists that I've really felt like I discovered on the way up, there's a whole nother realm of artists that I've missed because I listened to it and I was like, that's good, but I'm not as into that. But other people around me have shown me them. So for every good booker and curator and festival producer, there's a team around them also telling them, like, this is a really good sound. You should look at booking something like this. And then you get into the more traditional metrics of the Spotify plays and Instagram followers, and those all matter. They're very self-explanatory, though. When you get into ticket sales and things like that, it's very by the numbers. As an artist, when you start to build in that fashion, the most important thing is probably the ticket sales, especially if you're looking to grow as a hard ticket and a soft ticket artist. If you don't know what that term means, it's a music industry term for defining the type of play, you would say, right? And it's somewhat unique to electronic. A soft ticket play is something like Trio. It's a nightclub Whether on a Friday or Saturday, doors are going to be open regardless of which artist is playing, right? There's going to be a certain amount of people that you expect to show up. A hard ticket is a concert venue. So if you're familiar with one in town, like the Fillmore here, that's not opening unless it has an event. And each of those events have a certain ticket value, right? So that's a term you might hear as you're starting to grow in this industry. And electronic is definitely a lot more soft ticket based with the clubs, but it's starting to grow in that hard ticket value. And so when you look to tickets, those are two terms that define the different nature. A hard ticket means, hey, this artist has real fans, right? These people are coming out and buying tickets specifically to see XYZ. Soft tickets still tell you something too, though, because it's another element of, okay, people want to come out and hear this artist. Maybe it's not a specific fan base, but this is showing us something. So when I look at tickets, it's kind of like the Rain Man meme on that you see online, right, with the Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's got the whole board behind him. That's kind of going on a talent buyer's head sometimes, looking at all that. Yeah. But those are some of the more important things. Ultimately, though, I think for me and for some others, it comes down to that taste, that curation, and meshing that all together with something else. And I think that goes with a lot of festivals nowadays where you have some things on the cutting edge, like Hard and Portola and some of these other events like that have really unique lineups. They all have great curators behind them. You look at things like Lollapalooza and Bonnaroo, where they're booking lineups that also have great taste, but it's a lot of hot and current artists that are selling a lot of tickets that year, having great shows. Each has a benefit and an advantage. And everyone's looking at something just a little bit different to complete those.
That was where the sausage is made right there, guys. That was incredible. Did you guys know the difference between hard tickets and soft tickets? That's a really, really interesting topic, actually, because it feels like today, real fans community, we're talking about these numbers, right? I just did my first real hard ticket show in Chicago, and I was scared fucking shitless because I was like, they're coming for me. It's me and me only. But I put everything I had into it, and I sold 275 hard tickets, and I've never been more fucking proud of myself, right? Everybody was there for me, and it was so cool. I got to be myself. I recorded the whole set, right? Like Stu said, like, I was like, this is my chance to really turn the chapter for my career. And I was talking to Angelo about this, and Sue had this experience as well. We all started as open format DJs, actually. I'll have Sue tell his story, but he started as DJ Stevie Wild. Shout out Stevie Wild. And who here like started as an open format DJ? Right? Or how about just like a DJ, not even open format DJ? Yeah. That was literally it. I wanna ask Ange and Sue about that transition from being like just the DJ who was really DJing to starting to make music and actually become an artist.
Yo, first and foremost, I miss those fucking days so much, bro. I want to run an open format set back, play some Too Short, some 50 Cent. Let's go, baby. Shout out to the birthday girl. Shout out to the bachelorette party. Come on. Yeah. So I obviously started out, man, I used to fucking play at like LA Fitness and shit back in the day. There was no opportunities when I started DJing, so it was kind of fit in wherever you could. I did quinceañeras, bro. I did bar mitzvahs, all that shit. It was crazy. But there comes a time when, your passion and your excitement for music reaches another level and you want more. You want to become something through that. And for me, that was becoming a producer and really leaning into like what I can contribute to the scene and what I could create myself. And once I did that, it was kind of like, you gotta embrace the growth in those moments. And I tell people that I mentor and that I coach, I go, if you wanna be professional, you have to look professional. You have to regard yourself as a professional. And I think, that means taking better shows and saying no to stuff that's keeping you where you're at and moving to the next level musically, sonically, and just in general. And man, as much as I miss those Sweet 16s, the shit that's come now is so much better. And it wasn't until I took that leap of faith, and that came from my belief in myself. And you really have to be your own biggest fan, truly. And the beautiful thing is you only need one person to believe in yourself, and that can be you. So it wasn't until I believed in myself enough where I was like, I'm ready, and I know I can do it, that I took that next step. Shout out LA Fitness. We at Trio now. Like, fucking miss that shit. But like, I don't know, you gotta really want it for yourself, and you have to like give yourself that respect to do the things that you know you need to do. It's so cliche, but like, truly, you know what you need to do it. And if you wanna be more professional, be looked at differently, then make moves that are gonna reflect that and show up, right? This is a perfect first step. Show up, and a part of the booking things too, I tell everybody, people book who they know and who they like. And a part of your authenticity being your superpower, that's your personality, that's who you are as a person. Spread love, spread good energy, be fun to be around, be easy to work with, and I guarantee bookings and great things will start happening for you.
Yeah, so I think I would say I've kind of been slowing down on open format stuff like the last year and a half, 2 years. I think the big thing is what he said, like presenting yourself in general. You know, you're not promoting that you're playing at a local dive bar, but you're also making tech house and, you know, this really dope music, you know, and promoting that as well. Because also like people coming out to see you, you know, they're going to come out to this local dive bar and they're going to hear you play Taylor Swift, but you're making, you know, they want to hear that tech house original that you're making or something. You know, I think a little bit different for me. The one thing I did realize about an artist project, you know, you need money sometime to start an artist project. So I do take some open format gigs here and there, but you know, I'm not promoting it under Angelo the Kid. So no one will see that, you know, so, but if you guys do want to see me play, I play groovers here and there. You know, I play some 70s once in a while. So, yeah.
I'll give Angelo some props because he's going through that transition right now. He moved to Charlotte for us or with us to help us open this venue and curate the entertainment side of it. He's done an unbelievable job with a lot of people in the crowd who, I don't know about all you, but a lot of the other ones that aren't here started as bedroom DJs, and he helped them grow into playing at, you know, a 700 cap nightclub. And it's really cool to see him go from that open format DJ who was playing 6 days a week, twice on Saturday in New Jersey, to coming here and wanting to just play all the time. And after 3 or 4 months, realizing like, all right, I want to make music. He was making remixes that were incredible. Remix of the year in 2024. And now to like only playing shows that are his sound. And, you know, as a coworker of his, I respect that. And while I want him to play all the time, we don't make him really. We let him play when he wants and gets to curate his shows the way that he wants to. And it's really cool to see that transition. So while it is hard because especially if you're good at what you do before you transition into it, you know, it's hard to break out of that, you're only an open format DJ, but proof is in the pudding that it can easily be done. I mean, he's done it, so.
What was the remix? I think it was a mashup. Wasn't Taylor Swift remix?
I do got to give Angelo some credit. He is such a dope producer, and I've been fucking with his music for years. And I do want to say something because I've known Angelo as a producer for so long, but it wasn't until you fully went 2 feet in to your hard dance techno shit that you really started to embrace and develop that identity that's taken you to this level. And, you know, speaking about authenticity and stuff, like you never want to build the foundation on someone else's identity because then it's always going to feel like you need to be working extra hard to be fulfilling this identity. When you build it on your own, you have your own foundation, it's you, it's authentic, it's true to you, you never have to do that. And then you start to excel, you start to embrace your sound and your music and everything and want more and want to step into this new identity even harder. So no, major shout out, bro, you're the man, and like I'd love to watch you absolutely crush.
What mashup was it?
Let's go. Let's drop that shit tonight. Just on repeat the whole fucking night. Yeah. So I wanna get Kyle the mic for a second. Kyle he's probably one of the most underrated guys in the industry for the platform he gives people through EDM.com. This guy was literally so fucking smart all these years ago to claim EDM.com. Okay? Like, are you kidding me? Wake Forest right there, man. Wow. No, don't clap for that shit. Don't clap for that shit. Don't make him. He's already got his fucking Wake Forest watch on. He's flashing like this, like, Sherm, a little much. Just kidding. Okay, anyway. Kyle, EDM.com covers thousands of artists every year. Plain and simple, what makes you guys want to tell someone's story?
It's a good question. We have a number of writers. We have a managing editor that do a fantastic job with our editorial, meaning like the articles, and it's really just boils down to, is there something compelling about the story that the artist is telling? And same for like when you look at your own social media and things like that, and things that people like Stu are paying attention to, that Eric's paying attention to. Like, what story are you telling overall? And then is there like an sort of an extra compelling piece in there? And so that's what you want to think about for yourself, is what is something that's unique to me or really special to me that I can just like lean into and really take ownership of it, and then just hammer it over and over and over. So if you look like an artist like Daniel Allen, for example, like, posting the same thing on TikTok, 200 something times before one took off, but he was able to find something about himself that that he didn't really care. He just waited for it to resonate, and he just went over and over. So the short answer is just having a compelling narrative or compelling special element to you, and then finding a way to communicate that very quickly so that people can pick up on that, because there's thousands of releases every day, and especially on Fridays. So if it's sort of like, okay, but what comes along with that? Is this part of something bigger, or is it leading to more things? Did you overcome something to make your music? Are you doing something a little different?
Let's go. Clap for the man, but not for Wake Forest. Okay, so it's always kind of a hot topic. Networking versus talent feels like constantly it's ebbing and flowing. How did that guy get that gig? Well, he fucking knows somebody. Or how did that person get that? Well, I don't fucking know. You just got it, but you're jealous, And I want to start with Stu, and I want everybody to go down the line. I think Stu will be a good person to start, and then everyone kind of touches on it. Stu, straight up, in dance music, is networking more important than talent? And if you don't have a network, how do you actually build your network?
Network's definitely important. It's not everything, but Susan said it really good. People book who they like and who they know. That's a real thing. Hang out with the promoter. Hang out with the promoter and book her as much as you can. Be a friend with them. Everyone likes someone that they know they like and is a good person, is a good human being that other people like. So networking definitely matters. There's not a secret sauce to it. It's just it's very simple. I think that matters in everything. The talent will always show itself through. It's like what I was saying earlier. If you can have fun, if you can listen to something and you can tell, like, this person's playing good music, this crowd's having a really good time, that paired with the networking matters even more. There's some great DJs out there that play really fantastic sets, really fantastic music, and they're also really good people. That makes you really want to support someone. Just the same it would be with anything else in life, in any other type of business. If you work with good people, you want to see them do well, and they want to see you do well. One of the big things in networking is supporting each other, right? You're going to have a partnership with someone. That's how music is. And music can be territorial too. Just like any other business, there's competition, there's other promoters out there. If you know that when you're working with an artist, you can rely on them to help you when you need it, and vice versa, that's a big thing in supporting each other. And that matters a lot. Just like having a best friend. I know, and by the way, shout out to Eric. So Eric was my first client when I started Loud Crowd. If it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't be here. A lot of stuff I do wouldn't exist. I need to give him a special shout out for that. But when we were starting working together, same thing. You know, we would rely on each other. I knew I could go to him for any help I needed, and vice versa. And that's a triangle relationship between promoter, venue, agent, manager, club. It's a cycle all the way around. So you kind of follow. It's like the golden rule. You know, follow the golden rule, and it'll give back to you for sure.
Yeah, I think when it comes to networking, it's just like putting yourself out there is a huge thing. You know, send that demo to someone, send your music to everyone. You know, just be friendly with everyone. And I think like a big thing is like, from my perspective of doing like local bookings, is like not asking for bookings. I think just like talking to me like a regular person, talking to whoever, you know, just like a regular person, communicate, be friends with them, and stay in touch. I think that's like a lot of big things, because it just comes off the wrong way a lot of times when you're asking for something. But yeah, I think the big thing is just putting yourself out there and being cool.
So as far as sort of juxtaposing networking and talent, I agree that both can be are very important. Ultimately, if you want to make it as far as you're probably dreaming, then you need both and need to be very good at both. As an editorial team with EDM.com, like we share music because that's ultimately what we're here for. So we purposely carve out time in our meetings to just talk about music that's on our plate, that's on our radar that we're discovering. And some of these, the writers and the social media team and the sort of A&R roles for us, like they'll play stuff that is from really small artists, and it's awesome, But it was that, so the talent sort of was able to break through and create opportunities where it's coming up in a meeting like that we're having. And then sort of, talking about networking and building off what you were saying, Angelo, like the networking part is just like increasing the surface area like dramatically of who can now come into contact with your art form. And, you're gonna get opportunities that are sort of like maybe quote unquote shouldn't have, but like you're getting them because if you're likable. So when we were first getting seated, I mentioned something that Sherm hammers all the time, which is realistically the most important people in this room are probably sitting to your left and right, because when you network laterally like that, and then you sort of like all come up together, you're going to create opportunities. And there's been a couple times when I've met artists that were sort of like in a certain part of their journey, and then they just went on to become like massive. And I remember I remember meeting them and having like creating moments like where you're bonding with somebody. And even though like we do have access to very big names, it's still like, man, I'm glad I introduced myself and developed this like connection with this artist at this stage. Max Styler is one of them, for example. I remember I was at a festival and introduced myself to Max Styler. I mean, he's been in the game for a very long time, but he was sort of at this level, and you're just sort of standing there, and I introduced him to a couple other people, and then that was right before he went. So that's just one example. So, networking amongst your peers is super important. Being likable is super important. Getting to a quick story with Angelo, he took some time to kind of figure out what he wanted to do music direction wise, and just started sort of releasing music with the new direction. And we covered it at EDM.com, and he didn't ask us to do it, but we've networked before, so it's on our radar, and he's very easy to root for. So we just did it. And so that happens way more. I mean, we have people paying us to do stuff, and we have big publicists, but then sometimes it's like, yeah, but Angelo's really likable. And he's made him and we're paying attention to him now because he finds ways to support what we're doing from what he's able to do. So being likable is the cheat code.
And banking off that, like, I'm just gonna keep it plain and simple. The things that you support are gonna support you back. The things that you're missing out on aren't gonna give a fuck about you. The people that you're not showing up for, why would they care, right? It's so easy to think about taking the easy route. Oh, I'll just message this person. They don't know you. They don't have a connection with you. It doesn't mean anything. The people that I have in my crew on Hood Poly, the artists that I'm signing, some of them, oh my God, have shown up consistently for years. I'm talking every show, not asking for guest lists, have a drink at the front for me, show gratitude, show love, because that's the shit that you remember after a show or at whenever you go out. You go, damn, dude, that homie's such a G. I love that person. And when you make it to that point, you're chilling. Honestly, I'm not joking. And it goes back to people book who they know and who they like. If you're enjoyable to be around, if you bring good energy, if you bring support and you show up for the things that you want, it's gonna come back to you. It's the age-old saying, you get what you give, and you can't get what you're not giving, right? So if you're not showing up, if you're not connecting, if you're not introducing yourself, if you're not showing love, if you're not being a fan or being a cheerleader for these things that you want for yourself, it's not gonna happen, plain and simple. We get like, what do you think? We get a lot of demos at Hood Poly, a lot. And we have a lot of people that want to release with us. And the people that do end up eventually releasing with us, they make that contact. They show up in ways that matter. And everyone's trying to do the same shit. And my biggest piece of advice to move differently is to literally just move differently. Harness your character, your personality, who you are, show up with love, show up with encouragement and support. And I promise you, whatever you're looking for, whatever opportunity will come to you, because people talk a lot and your reputation matters. And as big as this industry is, it's really not that big. So when you have a good impression on somebody and people start talking about you, you're in a really, really good place. And I would encourage everybody to continue to just show up for life, for the industry, for the opportunities that you want, with passion, with pride, and with love, and it'll all come back to you. I promise. It's what it's done for me. Sherm, it's how Sherm's got on Hood Poly. Everyone that's joined Hood Poly, it's really been that, and I'm so grateful because it's true and it's real and it's something that I can trust. Like what he was saying. So, like, just be yourself and show love. You know what you need to do. Be that homie. You know it feels good when people do that to you. So do that to the world and do those things that you want. And it'll come back to you.
So this is actually one of my favorite questions because we get it all the time. I would say not as many as you guys do, but at least 10 to 25 a week. People, hey, I'm so-and-so. I want to DJ a trio, or how do you get into this? I'm kind of want to touch on what everyone said. Stu is looking at this from a little bit different of a perspective because he is booking hard ticket. So I think that the talent and the sellability is a lot more important. But you know what he said nailed it too. Was part of it is hang out with the promoter, but don't bother them, don't bug them, be genuine. Like, it's all about likability. Like Kyle said, hang out with someone, enjoy them, support them. You know, Angelo did an unbelievable job when he moved here, building the community. Don't be selfish about it. It's about growing the entire community. Support other venues, support other collectives. Johnny's a great example of that here. I mean, they're crushing it at House Vibrations. The first thing we did, the first show that Angelo and I ever went to when we moved here was one of their shows. And it makes a big difference when you show up for other people, support the industry as a whole. You know, what is it? All tides rise, rising taller ships, whatever that thing is. Yeah. So, you know, as the industry grows, you're going to grow too. You know, be involved, show up early, don't ask for things, don't expect things. You know, I think one giant misconception for the most part is like, just because you have a big following or a large Spotify plays means you're going to get booked. It's not about that. It's especially in a soft ticket venue. Yes, we are a business. We do need to financially survive. However, we don't book strictly for who's going to make us the most money. Stu was we were Stu's very first client when he started. We don't work together anymore, and we are best friends, and we will call each other 3 times a day, twice about wine and once about talent. And literally we'll hey, what do you think of this artist? How'd they do for you? How were they as a person? How was their team? Were they easy to work with? So all these things are super important, whether you have a team or not. Being likable and being someone that you want to work with is super important, whether it's from a financial side, which is 1 out of 10 times, and 9 out of 10 times it's about experience. We at our whole company, at pretty much everybody on this panel, believes more, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think I'm right, about experience versus bottom line. And, you know, providing a good experience will get people coming back, and working with people that you have a good experience with makes you want to work with them more. And then other people in their network, hey, I had a great show with Sue. I've got Sherm. I got my boy Sherm. You should book him. Amazing. Link us up. Let's get him in here. So it is super important. While skill is a baseline, unless you're the absolute best in the world at something, then, you know, I would rely more on experience, relationships, networking, and not necessarily networking in a way where it's quantitative, way more qualitative. Am I going to enjoy spending time with you? Am I going to want to bring you back because I had a good time, a good experience? You interacted with the fans. You do things like this where, you know, 30 plus people show up just to hear us talk. I mean, it's very cool and very important. So
Love that. Those were such great answers. That's why this is such a great panel, because I feel like there's so many different perspectives, and I want you guys to remember that everyone has their own journey. Like, everyone will, when they introduce me in person, they'll be like, "Oh, Sherm, where you from in San Diego, dude?" I'm like, "I'm from fucking Indiana, bro. You guys ever heard of that? Anybody heard of Indiana?" No one has fucking heard of Indiana, right? I had zero fucking connections. Zero. Negative, I would say, because people from Chicago hate Indiana, but that's okay. That's why I drink Malort. I earned my stripes. Anyway, the way that I met DJ Susan was through, is Chris Diaz out in the audience right now? Where is he? Chris, there he is. I met Chris at a pregame for Spy Bar on a Thursday night. Fucking literally Summit was there on the XDJ trying to get in on fucking USB jockey. And we just started talking to each other, right? And you go to these pregames, you go to these shows, and you can't believe how small this industry is sometimes. I had Chris on my podcast. He said, "You got to have DJ Susan on your podcast." I had Susan on the podcast. Susan was like, "I'm hiring you for Hood Poly. You have no choice." I was like, "Okay, all right." Let's do it. I didn't have to interview, at least. Yeah. But the call after, there was another 2-hour podcast right after the 2-hour podcast. But the way I got it known in the industry was by giving something. I had a podcast, right? No one else really had a podcast. People still, I mean, in the music industry, people still don't. You guys know Olivia Mancuso? You guys seen her Elevator Frequencies? She's my business partner in Chicago Music Nexus. That conference started from her coming on my podcast. I had West End on my podcast, Max Styler, Honey Love, Ranger Trucco, literally all these people right before they blew up on my podcast, because I was hitting them up and I was introducing myself and I was giving them something rather than asking for something. Like Sue said, the angel saying, don't give to get, but like when you do give, it will eventually come. And don't do something and then ask for a favor. Like, just let the world revolve and things will come naturally, and it will feel so good when it does happen. That's what I was talking about Angelo on the way. Like 10 years later, and I'm finally like taking my wife on a vacation to Hawaii. We're playing in Honolulu next weekend. Like, I can't be grateful enough for Sue for building up Hood Politics all these years in himself to say, we're taking our wives to Hawaii. And I'm like, my wife's like, "Can we get extra leg room?" I'm like, "Let's go fucking first class, bitch." And I think that's the really beautiful part about talent and networking. Give yourself the opportunity to do both. All right, let's do some Q&A. Who has any questions? Right here, first hand up.
So going back into the networking piece, so I got 2 questions. One, so I work at, like I said, festival production or event management, and also artist management. For me, it's more so, I guess, the struggle that I've been kind of dealing with is figuring out how I toe the line as far as getting in contact with talent buyers or agents on that side without ruining my relationships on the work side, as far as, you know, having them as a client. Because I work intimately with Insomniac on EDC Vegas, Factory Town, as well as Beyond Wonderland and things like that. You know, so Coachella and a bunch of other shows. I don't want to mess that up, because I also do work for a large corporate company and don't want to, you know, screw any relationship up there. But at the same time, I also have artists that I'm trying to expand on and trying to help them kind of get somewhere. So how would you see yourself kind of trying to toe that line or cross that line, in the sense of how would you get in contact with that talent side or that production side per se? I can't. Right. So, like, how I do that, right? So, that, like, in other words, there has to be some way for me to be able to say, "Hey, cool, I can still talk to people on the other side without somehow affecting my corporate life," right? Because at some point in time, they do merge. I mean, again, work and pleasure, it's great, it's fun, but I'm there.
I think it's a good question. I've dealt with this in a number of like arenas and sort of like different sides, and I think one thing you can do is compartmentalize it a bit, and then the other thing is like you're developing relationships through the work, right? And then you sort of like want to use them essentially for other projects that you're involved with, either as a manager, an artist, or something like that. And one thing can be like with the framing of the question when you're asking the person you're trying to reach. Like, for example, I've been in those seats before and try to network with the panelists. And if you say, what's the best email for you where it'd be appropriate to keep you up to date with my project, then they have the choice to give you their trash email or their real email or this or that. You know what I'm saying? But you're phrasing it in a way, and what ends up happening is they usually almost give you just a direct, oh, here's my cell phone or something like that. So if you're developing the relationships through the business side of things, and then you sort of maybe hit them with a side email, and you're pretty transparent, like, hey, who's the best person on your team to talk about another project that I'm involved with an artist that I'm working with, who's the best person to talk to, or something like that. And then they can kind of connect the dots. Okay, you're asking about this other project. It's not really coming through the front door, but I like you and you're likable and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm going to give you the right person, or say, oh, I am the right person to talk to about that. And that way, they're not being sort of tricked into it. They just know like you're being transparent about like, hey, I want to talk to you about this other thing. What's the best way to go about that?
Amazing. We got a lot of questions here. We got to keep going. Hold on. Let's go, brother. You on creatine, by the way?
No.
You sure?
Yes, sir. So, what's up, everybody? My name is Jake Ramos. I'm an artist and DJ. I was originally from New Jersey, but I'm based in Charlotte. So, I have a question for the artists on stage and even some of the talent buyers. When it comes to creating a sound, a song, how do you toe the line between making something that like people understand? So, what I mean by that is like you hear about it a lot, like, yo, Odd Mob ruined Tech House because it's an eighth note bass line, or the Notion saw Reese. So like making those sounds like could get you like popular, they could get you recognition, but then how do you take something like that and then progress it into making like your own unique sound? So to finalize kind of my question is, if I'm making a sound that is, it's respected highly on like TikTok and platforms, now how do I take that and make it me? And is it okay to make kind of a popular sound to start, like to remix popular songs before you dive into something original? And like, if you dive into something original, I mean, like I've heard every splice vocal everywhere. So for me, like, I'm trying to wait on something like, should I go like a vocalist route, or should I try to just release something with a splice vocal just to say I have original music out, because I don't have any original music out. It's just kind of remixes. So I guess like, what kind of advice, I know I just spewed a ton of stuff, but what kind of advice would you give? I got you.
That is a great question. And brother, I was just like you, always sweating about the outcome. Is people gonna like this? Is this in line with what's going on? My entire life musically changed when I detached myself from the outcome. Writer's block went away, creativity started thriving, and I literally started to develop my individuality and my sound. When you detach yourself from the outcome and you make music strictly for you, that's the creative process right there. That's how you scale. You just keep building on the shit that you like, the sounds that you like. Don't follow trends. Don't try to follow any format. Just sit down in front of your DAW and say, this sounds sick. And even better, this is too weird. I'm gonna fucking keep it in here, bro. 100%. The stuff that I sign on Hood Poly is unique. And I can immediately tell when a producer is uniquely like themselves, right? And I can tell when people are just literally just copying other songs. And these other songs are fucking amazing. But it doesn't matter. I'd rather sign somebody that's knows who they are and what they want and is having fun with music. And another thing too is like, listen, I can say this because I'm DJ fucking Susan. Don't take yourself so seriously, bro. Don't take this shit too seriously. Have fun. And like, that's the best part of music is having fun. And I think so much of that comes from detaching yourself from the outcome. So next time you get in Ableton and you're making a track, make what you want to make, bro. Do the weird shit that you're like, no, I couldn't do this because that's the shit that's gonna stand out. And in an oversaturated market where everything sounds the same, bro, the next hit, the next like mega hit is gonna be something so left field and so unique that somebody just Picasso'd, really. That's it. It's not gonna come from following trends or following what's hot. It's being you and sitting down and saying, this is fucking sick. I fuck with this. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. I fuck with this. Because when you start doing that and you start building this consistency and you're resilient in your set in what you're doing, people see that and they want to fuck with you. And I think, sending tracks to labels is great, but my career, my success with the big labels has been them coming to me from me doing my own thing and being unapologetically me in my sound and my production and what I'm doing. So I implore you, brother, detach yourself from the outcome. Be you, brother. Let's go.
That was great. I want to tap on that as well because one of my first songs I ever released was self-released. It's called The Sherminator. Fuck yeah. I sampled American Pie when he comes down and he goes, Chuck Sherman the man. Yeah, I'm going to play it tonight. It's pretty sick. Nice bass line. I think it started off as a Bad Bunny remix. It literally, the cover is me in high school wearing a Unibrows Unite shirt from the Sesame Street people, like going like this. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, what was I thinking? But you know what? I didn't give a fuck. I put that shit out. I tested it. I said, I did it. And I think one mistake that artists make, this is probably the biggest mistake. They hide their art under a fucking rock. There's no point in that. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice and all your potential fans, even if it's one person. Like, the only good thing Deadmau5 has ever said, just kidding, he's a nice guy, is if I make one person happy with my music, then it was worth it. And you have to share your art in order to feel that. Like, Sue's right. Exactly, that's true. Like, you love it first, you put it out there, and also, like, from a back-end standpoint, you guys should learn how to get a track into distribution. You guys should learn how to promote your track. You guys should learn how to make cover art. Diplo did a good job of this when I went to ADE a few years ago. He was talking about how he was his own label manager. He was his own manager. He was his own tour agent. He was his own label A&R. He was his own artist, right? And he learned what it takes and what he looks for in these people. He might not be the best of all of those, and you shouldn't be the best label A&R. It's part of the music ecosystem. But you need to learn what it's actually like in the back end to release your music and market that music, because there's so many steps. Like, people come to Hood Poly and like we're so blessed that we've signed artists that their music gets supported by the biggest DJs in the world on the biggest stages, and we're so fucking stoked on that. That doesn't mean that every single track is going to get dropped at Red Rocks by Tiesto, right? And people come to us and they go, we didn't really like how this track turned out. We're like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, it didn't go top 10 on Beatport. We're like, okay. They're like, well, it didn't even get 100,000 streams on Spotify. We're like, okay. And they're like, and no DJ supporting it. And I go, you haven't shown one bit of fucking effort. Like, don't act like we're the ones who are going to make you blow up. Like, make noise on your own. Release your own shit. Like Angelo, bro. I got 30 of his fucking remixes on my USB. Literally, when we were on the phone, I searched Angelo. I go, God damn, I got everything everybody's ever made. He made fucking noise on his own. So I would encourage you guys, like, a label, it's just not going to do everything that you think it's going to do. It's merely a vehicle in a shared community. You need to make noise on your own, build your own community, and then everything else will follow with the music.
If you build it, they will come, promise. And listen, even if you don't like your shit, there's going to be someone out there that loves it. And that's a person that you can connect with, grow with, connect with, release on their label, communicate with them, build shit with them. That's the best part. I don't even know where I would be. I don't even think I would still be in this game if I didn't start Hood Poly. Truly. My brothers, my community means everything to me. And I'm able to have that because I put my art out into the world. And I was able to reach new people and connect with new people. You guys are missing a serious, leg of connection by not putting your shit out. People want to fuck with you. They're just waiting for the opportunity to.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I feel like this year too, I am self-releasing everything. I don't care about the numbers. Like if I get 3 texts from people after release, I'll be the happiest person in the world. You know, it's really not about, you know, following the hype and all that. It's much more different than that. You just have to have fun when you're making music. Try not to get into that hype where, you know, you're scrolling through TikTok, you're seeing all these, you know, like you said, the eighth note bass line, whatever, just nonstop. Just have fun, you know. And I also listen to a lot of live sets of artists that aren't as popular. I'm listening to people that aren't as hype, you know, and also like referencing a lot of stuff from people that aren't as big, because those producers are what they're making the dope shit. They're making some really cool stuff. So yeah, I would say just, you know, just have fun. Like imagine social media wasn't even around and just make music. That's a massive thing. So
Social media is rented space. Don't forget that. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So I'm really so excited to be here. And so DJ Susan was saying earlier about be authentic, be yourself, right? So my name's Dimple. I launched an artist called D Armani just 2 months ago. I don't come from the music industry. I come from marketing, but it's a very unique project. And when you talk about the songs, there's my number one song right now is about a real life moment that happened in Charlotte, sitting at a restaurant bar. And I was so scared to release the song because I was like, oh my God, like it's because it's so like real, right? And I just like, one day I was like, you know what? F it. I'm just gonna do it. So I released it and it's number one. And then there's like a part two because something else happened, and that's the part two song. And then there's a part three that's kind of like a Bad Bunny kind of remix. And oh my God, but it's about, I think people can relate to like emotions and they can relate to real life stories. And I think people are trying to too much just copy everyone else's music. But right now, I think in 2026, music is about being original. It's about taking a genre and mixing it up, putting EDM with Afro pop, with like, tech house and all this stuff. And that's what I've been doing. And even mixing different languages in it. And I've done everything like, produced the cover art with AI. I write the lyrics. I've done everything. I don't sing the music, but I produce it all. And actually, it's made with AI, but people think it's real. And no one can tell because it's produced so well. And I spent hours. People don't understand how many hours it takes to like come up with an album cover that you're proud of, that you're happy about. How many hours it takes to get a song that sounds good, or listen to 20, 30 songs to be like, 4 of them sound good. How do I pick the best one? Without bugging friends and saying this. So it's like learning all the intricacies about the music industry and just everything. It's a whole world, and it's a lot. Yeah, but my question is, what's your take on having music that's truly unique? It's built off of emotion and moments.
You should be up here.
I think you just hit it on the head what music is, truly. When you got to look at music as art, and the most contemporary form of art that I can think of is like realistic art, painting, right? Who do we reference the most when we talk about the greatest artist of all time? Number one, Picasso. Why? That motherfucker didn't give a fuck. He did whatever he wanted. He was so out there, so out of bounds, so out of the line, so in his own lane, stoked on what he was doing, that it caught the attention of people because it was so naturally unique that it was controversial in a good way. And in a world where everything sounds the same, some original shit like that, a blend of different genres and different languages and stuff, that's awesome. That's controversial. And even if one person, 2 people, 3 people listen to it, that's 3 people that hadn't heard that before. And I think it's a beautiful thing to celebrate your authenticity in that way and to be you. There's so many people trying to be everybody else that truly being yourself will put you so far beyond everybody else. And I encourage you to keep experimenting with sounds and keep doing your thing, and just know that like you really can't lose when you're coming from a place of truth and putting your emotions in your music. I think that's what people listen to music for, and I think you're gonna have the opportunity to connect with a lot of really cool people and a lot of really good listeners and fans who resonate with that. And when people resonate with music, that's true like that, oh my gosh. It's like the biggest form of a compliment you can receive. And there's always going to be people out there like that, right? So we could all look and say, shit, no one's going to care about my music because it doesn't sound like the hits. But the connection you're going to have with something true, authentic to you, and it tells a story is going to mean so much to you and the people listening to that. So please continue to do that. That's beautiful. And I implore you to keep getting more and more creative with what you're doing and reaching new audiences and connecting with cool new people. It's awesome.
Hell yeah. Okay, we can do one more question. Anybody in the back here? Stavros. Look at this guy. You guys fucking, are you kidding me? What up, bro? You were great in tires. Hey, Buzz City, let's go, man.
They're winning at halftime right now.
Let's go.
So my question is kind of multifold. I can do that. Hey, I got it. I was like, oh, you got all the way up. Okay. So my question is kind of multifold. So I would say in the beginning it was kind of for Stu, Eric, and Kyle, but I would say, at this point I want others to chime in because of your experience. But what platforms or emerging technologies do y'all work with? Do you think you're essential in your day-to-day workflows? I'm a little bit curious about that, but the detail to kind of put around maybe between talent, between booking, general artist management, club or venue specific, anywhere maybe Stu with Insomniac, enterprise scale to the venue scale, what you're doing on a smaller level from maybe the finance side. Just out of curiosity, because what I do locally, I'm part of House Vibrations and Early Breakaway and Live Nation as well.
On my side, a big one is, so this is more on the back end, not so much the music side, but a good ticketing platform. That tells you so much about who's buying your tickets, what your audience is like, and that helps me do things better across everything. I mean, there's a lot of back end business functions from the accounting side and things like that, but I don't dive into that a lot. But a good ticketing platform where I can get in and really see a lot of the data helps me a lot. So we do shows at the Caverns, right, which is in Tennessee. It's a destination event. 30% of our sales are coming from the surrounding 3 hours. Everything else is coming from all over the country. We get a lot from Chicago, we get a lot from Atlanta, we get a lot from Florida. But I can go into that ticket and I can see where people are buying from. And that helps me understand how to do those shows better in the future, because I know, okay, this particular genre, we're going to get more people from Chicago, or we're going to get more people for Atlanta, which helps me better market that show. It's a 1,200 cap venue. Our marketing budgets aren't crushers. So I know how to better tailor that and make that work for the artist and be a better promoter ultimately. And then be able to give that data back to the artist, which is actually more surprising than you think. When I tell an agent or something, hey, you've got 200 fans coming from Chicago for this show, and they're like, oh wow, we didn't know that. Like, we didn't know our base was that strong and they would travel from all over to come see that. So that's a big thing, because there's all sorts of different ticketing companies out there, and they all have their pros and cons, but one that has more of a data analytical driven side really helps you as a promoter. On the music side, I'm dialed in on YouTube right now, honestly. I do my best work when I crack open a Celsius, I put on a set from an artist. It's like 7 p.m., no one's calling me, and I just pull up my festival grid and I'll just crank the music all the way up and I just lock in. I'm like, this would sound good here. Like, I'm dialed in. Like, I feel like I'm mentally like in that space in the festival. I can see my stage, I can see the audience, and I kind of feel like this would be sick. It all starts clicking. So anything visual right now, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. I want to understand how this artist, who I may not have seen live yet, if I've seen live, it's a different story, but if I haven't seen it, I'm being able to get a feel for how that audience reacts to you, how you're interacting during your sets, what your energy's like. That's giving me the idea of how I might be able to work you into a show, or where you might fit musically the best. So no revelation on the music side, but it's kind of going, at least for me, going a little bit backwards into what sounds good and how do I see what that's feeling like, so I know where best to fit that into something.
Yeah, I think for software stuff, I definitely, like, organization is a big thing for me. And as far as an artist, like, I like to plan everything like a month out. As far as like content and all that, music releases, I've been planning everything like 6 months out, just to be ahead of everything. I also do think, like, if you have it planned early, and it's on the calendar, like you're gonna do it, you know, compared to not being there and you're just trying to wing everything. But yeah, I would say, you know, I use my Apple Calendar. I use Notes a lot. I use AI to just kind of help me plan everything and organize everything really well. And then as far as like releasing music, this is like my first year of like releasing everything on Spotify on my own. So, you know, DistroKid. But I want to start using some other stuff. I saw SoundCloud is doing something free, so I'm learning as I go. And then I heard for my next release, I want to use Relish, which is like for DJ promo and all that. So yeah, I would say I'm pretty basic right now. Definitely just ChatGPT, Notes, and Google Calendar. So.
Since I wear a couple hats, there's a number of different ways that we're involved with technology. On the record label side of things, my partners and I have actually been sort of developing more of an end-to-end system that sort of fits in between record labels and distributors. We've been working on for like 3 years or something, but a lot of it is just about trying to get more of the processes into one continuous thing. And I think where the industry is headed is dashboards and being able to pull from different sources. Because right now you sort of have like some ticketing sources, or you'd have what you could look at on Spotify for artists and things like that. So I think where the industry's headed is trying to, with AI tools and stuff, is finding ways for an artist team or a booking team or something like that to look at like multiple revenue sources to get different insights. So I think that's where things are headed. And then as far as like music production, like what we're becoming aware of is with EDM.com, like when we're talking to artists and stuff, is just the use of AI, not to open that can of worms, but we do see it being used as tools by like the big guys, the middle guys, the little guy, the newer artists. And we've seen like the reception has been like, if you're using it as a tool, it's like John Casey, for example, just did a video where he was, you know, singing or what have you, or using his voice and changing it. And you could watch what he was doing. So it was like he was using AI, but he was sitting there doing it. So I think AI is going to have a number of applications business-wise for dashboards, and then for creativity is like the Sunos and things where it could go one way, but also we see the biggest artists they're already utilizing it as a tool for either inspiration or just getting things done.
I think tools are only necessary until you have your community dialed, right? Some to work it off of. On another note, I think the most you're a music producer, yeah? Model? Should be, bro. You're fucking beautiful. Holy shit. Well, this goes out to all the music producers out there. I truly, genuinely think the greatest tool that we have as a resource is SoundCloud. I say that because it is truly the only platform where you can be cross-promoted in so many amazing, prosperous ways by different channels, different labels, different artists, by 3 different mediums, really. Reposting, liking a track, commenting a track. Every time anybody does it on SoundCloud to a track, it appears on their profile. And that's publicity on a huge record label's page, on a huge artist that likes your music's page. And I think that publicity and having that presence online with your music and something that you don't really even need to promote it for, right? You put something on SoundCloud, you run it through a download gate, it starts to pick up organic traction, right? And your song starts getting reposted, liked, commented by all these people. Your song is showing up on every single one of these people's profiles, right? So when you're growing as an artist, you're getting this pretty much free visibility on SoundCloud that everybody is kind of using as like a social media tool that no other app has. Spotify doesn't have it, Instagram doesn't have it, nothing does. SoundCloud's the only app that you can really cross-promote your shit through supporting each other, right? Like when you repost something, it'll show up on your page. So I implore every artist here, if you're sitting on music, put it out, run it through a download gate, start collecting organic fans, start collecting organic engagement and connecting with those people. Then after that, these tools can apply. But if you're trying to do things without a foundation or without a fan base first, then it's not really gonna work, right? But getting your music out there, being consistent, connecting with people and giving them a chance to promote, interact, and be a part of your journey and your music is on SoundCloud is the greatest way to get from a beginner to a pro level and respected and supported by so many great people and have the opportunity to show up on these pages. I think as an artist, that's the best tool. From there, there's so many ways that you can leverage those fans that you collected, but I think until you have that, nothing else is really like that important. So build that fan base, build that community, build people that fuck with your music organically, and everything else will crush.
So from a venue standpoint, Stu nailed it with the ticketing platforms. There's a lot of data. A lot of it comes also internal. So, we went from 160 cap venue and now we have 5 in a 2-year span. So we grew really, really quickly. So we were super small mom and pop to now we have all this data that we didn't know what to do with. So our biggest resource, to be honest, this sounds cheesy, but is our team. Having people that are willing and able to look through the data, sort the data, but then also comment and do their own research when it comes to like discovering new artists and new trends and new ways to make our business better. Having a team that is willing to dig through all of what we already have. Obviously, we use tools like accounting softwares and stuff like that, which is all well and good. But back to like the experience comment, just because we had one night that numbers were really good doesn't mean it was the best night. So having people around, to relive those experiences and talk about them and I guess like analyze them with ourselves is I think our biggest tool. I don't know if that answers your question at all, but yeah, we don't really use anything like super crazy. We have reservation platforms and all that kind of stuff. But as far as like, software, it's really just.
I guess I have a question for you, and I'm sure right there. To what level did any of you use like roster CC or anything like that?
Roster has changed my life. Used to spend a lot of time looking, roster CC. That's what you're asking about, right? Yeah, very helpful. I've spent a lot of time in the past looking for who the proper contact is for somebody. That's what I probably use it most for now. But prior to that, there was times where I couldn't find the right contact for an artist and I wouldn't reach out to them and maybe I missed on them, right? But now it's very easy. It's a really good platform, really informative. I love it. It's great for day to day.
We don't use any. We're super organic. We don't have. I mean, obviously, we run metrics on sound. Yeah. So our experiences that we have here is our main base of analytics for future bookings and stuff like that.
Your wife's a badass, dude. Yeah, I'll just answer last before we close out. I think everyone gave a great answer. There's so many different technologies. To give you not a technological answer, like I said, like social media has rented space. Imagine if that just disappeared, because it fucking could, honestly. Let's be honest. Like, fuck, the world's crazy. So Instagram might just disappear because Zuckerberg's dead. It's okay to laugh, guys. Anyway. Okay. I'm doing stand-up comedy now. Let me turn it back to moderator. I feel like the most important way that you stay connected with your fans is whatever way that they receive you the best, right? Like, this is my favorite way to connect with people. And throwing your own events and getting in front of individuals who actually care is like the best way to do it. And then how do you actually convert that from a technological standpoint? So Sue and I, we're doing a beta version with Vault. Have you guys heard of Vault? Okay, so you guys are all forced to sign up on our Vault if you want guest list. But Vault has been so cool for us because we're able to connect directly with our fans. We're able to do drops like Bandcamp. It's like Bandcamp and Lalo combined, basically, right? And it's been so special for us, for people that have been giving away our product for free through download gates and SoundCloud, and that's great because it's been the best way for us to market ourselves. But now we build this community. So how do we monetize this community? How do we make this community feel special? So we send texts. People that signed up early on Vault got access to our Miami Music Week lineup, which you guys should all come to. And they get free access to merch discounts, right? Like, how do you make people feel special, especially if you're an artist? How am I making people feel like I got access to whatever Sherm has behind the scenes, right? That's what it is. Vault is a vault. It's a vault in which our fans can actually access work in progress, exclusive remixes. If you want the DJ Susan remix of XYZ track, you got to be in our vault. We're not trying to make that a gate-kept thing. We're just trying to make sure that our people who want to be part of it actually feel special. So I feel like there's going to be so many new community platforms like Lalo and Vault. They're going to be taking over the scene because we've noticed this. I was asking Sue, I was like, do we push the free Eventbrite link for our Hood Poly party, or do we push the Vault link? And he goes, every artist that I've seen, like he's playing the Valentino Khan show, for example. Valentino Khan, he's pushing it through his Lalo, right? So you have to sign up on his Lalo in order to do that. I think that's a great thing. That's not a gimmick. That's people who actually want to come see Valentino Khan, DJ Susan, and Prappa, right? And I think that's so cool. So I would keep an eye out on what's going on in the cutting edge scene for fan community platforms and be on top of that. Like, I think I haven't pushed it as much as I want to, but I have like 50 people in my vault. It sounds weird when I start to talk about it like this, so I'm gonna get out of that. But those people say, dude, I appreciate your text on Vault. I didn't know that you had this podcast come out, right? Like, we're just inundated with marketing and ads and email. So that would be my final answer. But we're towards the end of this, guys. Can we make some noise for the panelists, please? This was so cool. This was so cool, for real. It's just awesome to come to another city and see the engagement and amazing selection of panelists. I want to give Eric a shout out for helping organize this. We're going to Charleston tomorrow and doing the same thing. So we have the resident DJ there, Soto, and then we have Ryan Williams, who's also part of Project 91. So it's just really cool to get the local scene, the global scene, everybody involved. I will tell you, if you guys came to this, you get guest list for tonight, +1. Sorry, Eric. And then come to the show. If you guys have music you want to show us right now as well, we're definitely down to listen to it. We'll give you our information. If you're here for Hood Politics demos, come over to me and Sue. We'll give you the right email. We'll give you the right information. And we're definitely down to listen to your music because, again, you guys are the 1% who showed up. And that means something, and we want to honor that. Stavros, you're beautiful, man. Let's make some noise one more time, guys. Thank you.